Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Monday, and welcome to the first of the, at the moment, the Be My Own Boss episode, or the Be My Own Boss weekly breakdown. And I guess let me start with that before I introduce who you all already know. But we were talking, and here's the plan of this: is that every Monday, and sometimes we have conflicting schedules. So if it's not Monday, it'll be Tuesday. But once a week, we're gonna come together with you guys and bring up kind of one topic that's relative to independent contractorship or staying our own bosses, and talk for about 10 minutes on it, and then answer any questions you guys might have, even if they're unrelated to what we talk about that week. The point, I guess, here is to try and help people understand what's going on and make sure that you're in the loop and that you're getting it. Is that well said? Well, while I'm after that, let me introduce Mr. Mike Harubi. Thanks, Mike, for joining me. And so Mike and I will be here every week with you guys for, it's just going to be a short period of time. We are going to have a hard stop at like 25 minutes. So these won't be long. So if you do miss it, or if like you start to watch them and you miss an episode and you're like, oh, I missed the live, just leave the comments in the comments below of this video. Or again, guys, if you're on Twitter world, Mike and I were talking about this backstage. Realize that we all know that Twitter didn't used to allow comments in the lives. They do now. And if you guys make them in Twitter in real time, we will see them in real time, just like we do the YouTube comments. So you can be on the Twitter platform and see this as well. With that said, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Steve. It's nice to be here. I'm looking forward to the series.
Yeah.
I just switched over to comments myself. So this is good.
Yeah. So, I mean, both Mike and I are on Twitter. Mike has a lot more presence on Twitter. He posts a lot more than I do over there. On the thumbnail is Mike's handle on Twitter. If you guys are on Twitter and you want to follow him, also I'll put it into the show notes after, and then every episode will have him in there. But this week, I think we're just gonna kind of start with something. We even were figuring it out backstage right now, because we were saying how we have hundreds of topics to talk about, but which one for today? So, Mike, do you want to walk us through what we were talking about just a second ago?
Yes, I do. Thanks, Steve. I think is most important right now for everyone listening and everyone like them is that it looks like the chances of what's called the Congressional Review Act passing Congress, getting through the president, the White House, and then passing Congress again, looks like the chances are darkening. Doesn't look bright right now. There's been a change of mood in D.C. There's been a change of understanding around the country. There was a Republican majority in the House, has been committed to making a change, pulling back the latest Department of Labor regulation, making it more difficult to be an independent contractor. And so that's the force necessary, the thrust in aerospace terms is declining. The Senate has hardened up, and everyone's running for office who's up for re-election. And so not much commitment is being made there to issues that won't gain them, the senators, a couple of 100,000 votes a week. So that the administration feels like it did when it brought them out. So it hasn't changed its mind. So I think the expectation that we should have is that it's going to be an unlikely successful effort, and that we will then be on our own to continue our own strategy, hopefully working together, because we are much stronger together than we are separate, continuing to work together to make Washington understand they need to defend our self-employment as vigorously as we wish to. And we have to do what I'll call a courage transfer to the people who represent us. So that is the issue. That has changed since last week, Steve. And I think it's important at least to get it out there and get people thinking about it. Like their voice might even be more important in the coming weeks than it was in the prior weeks when it was also important. That's the positive spin on it.
But the negative side is, am I understanding it right? That like, I mean, like, are the people fighting for the right thing? And again, I'm not talking about the right or the left, but the right thing here, us remaining independent contractors, are they somewhat falling off in their support, or what's?
I don't believe the individuals are falling off in their support. I believe it's the press of political and legislative business in Washington, the changing, if you think of it as a balance, the changing balance in each of the houses of Congress, chambers of Congress. I think those things are changing. I think, if anything, I think more independent contractors are beginning to realize, hey, I've heard something about this. Although every day I talk to someone who hasn't heard about it. So they're still unplowed furrows yet to be worked. So I don't think the change is within us. I think the change is in the people whose public decisions and public actions make a difference. So that's why it is so important for each of us to express our support for independent contracting with something as personal as a video.
Yeah, I also meant like, is it becoming like more, is it going further down the scale of importance with the people who support what's needed here? Like in terms of now they're more focused on A, B, or C, a totally different thing as we approach November.
Good question.
Like let's say that they have 10 things that they're all like fully on board with in 2023. Right. Now here we are in the final months. Are they starting to kind of go, well,
what they don't want to, what I am certain they are being careful about most of all is you don't want to bring an issue to Congress and lose the vote, because that means if you brought up an issue to rename a color, it's not going to be purple anymore. It's going to be iris, and lose the vote. Everyone will go, oh, okay, so that's been decided. And they'll literally tell you, no, we've moved on. We voted on that and it's dead. And they just won't pay attention. So that, I think that is the most important thing. You want to get the iron hot and then strike, because if you strike and it doesn't bend, then you're going to be revealed as somebody who doesn't have an issue that's going to go anywhere. So I think they are doing the appropriate thing in light of the context that they're in. But as far as our careers and our work and our families, no, you'd love to see them keep fighting, but there are a lot of nuances, and a lot of parties going to be hurt in this.
But again, that doesn't mean that they can't be reconvinced, because I hate saying this, and please, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like all sides, all parties involved in politics, at this point, they're weighing how many people are we hearing from on what issues?
Exactly.
And so if they're not hearing enough about this, like the videos. So guys, if you have not made a video, I know, I know a lot of you really do. You truly are like, I'm going to make one, I promise. And I know our lives get so crazy. And I know that even that minute can feel like, oh man, I'm just slammed today. But when you get home at night or anything, like it's getting down to the wire here. We need more videos. We need more people saying this is what they want, unless you want to be an employee, in which case I'd say there's a lot of jobs out there. You can just go do that right now. You don't need to wait. Just go get a W-2. But for those of us who truly invest in being, not only being my own boss, but wanting to be self-employed, maybe wanting to even do more things than I already do. And that's the kind of thing that I wanted to hit on today, was that, look, I don't know what other things I might add to my portfolio through the years. I might decide that I want to do this and that too. But all that's in jeopardy if I lose the ability.
Yes.
And so it's basically like, I guess what I'm saying to you guys is I don't think maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think any of you even can say for sure, well, this is all I'm going to do the rest of my life. You just never know. You never know what opportunity might come up.
The presence of the apps, the platforms, means that you can keep doing the same thing or do whatever you want, but take your particular efforts where you are most likely to find the best return. And that's why I've liked self-employment personally the most for 41 years, is that it allows me to direct my effort, like the app driver who figures out airport, 4:30 in the morning, be positioned to bring suburbanites into the airport. Like, that's a strategy. You wouldn't have that if you were, working W-2 for a taxi operation. He's going to tell you, Steve, I want you here. And he goes, oh my God, I don't want to go there.
Yeah. No, and I often use the comparison to the bar industry, which I have 20 plus years in, which is where it's like, oh yeah, I want that Friday, Saturday shift. Okay, well, you got to take Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon to get those.
Oh man.
So you got to take 2 shifts where you're not going to make any money at all.
Right.
And you're going to do a lot. In fact, you're going to work harder on a Friday and Saturday night running around dealing with customers. But those Tuesday and Wednesday day shifts to get the weekend shifts often are, hey, clean the bars, clean the tables, scrape the gum off the bottom of the table. Like it's work where you're not making any tips and you're getting server pay.
Right.
But you just know in terms of, well, but I'm going to make $300-400 on Friday.
Yeah. No,
so
it's an imposed cost that you don't necessarily, that's an independent, you don't have to bear. You'll find something else to do. You'll do it with a different app. You'll change your offering.
But never have I worked in a place, even with the best bartender at the place, and there always is one, but even the best one at any given place, none of them ever just get to go, I'm only going to work Friday, Saturday. So you're always going to take another shift, even if it's just one. Well, you got Tuesday afternoon too. I don't want that. Well, then you don't get Friday, Saturday.
Right.
So I guess my point being, I know that that's a W-2, but it's a kind of an odd W-2 because it's in every state. The minimum pay rate is a server wage. It's not it's under the federal minimum wage, which is already extremely low. But I mean, it's like $2.13 or $3.15 for bartenders plus tips. And then I was trying to explain to some people that if you get, if you have a great week, you're very likely to get a check that says 0, because at the end of a shift, you have to type in all of the tips you took in, and that gets taken against your pay. So I could have a 45-hour work week and go in and say, I need my paycheck too, but all my pay was tips. And I've been handed a check for $0.
Nice.
I
bet your bank teller was impressed when you took that.
Well, you just don't even, what do you do with it? I've had ones for like cents that I just go to the ATM and deposit, but even that, it's almost like, I'd rather just throw it away.
Yeah, you would. You'd rather, but so, every penny counts, I suppose.
Yeah, but so I don't know. I think that I guess I just don't want people thinking that, well, the rule change went into effect, nothing happened, because there's so much happening, and we just haven't been talking about it.
The deadline for it being applicable has not arrived. It's August 11th. So there's a reason nothing's happened other than people starting to get pink slips from, kind clients who just wanted to let you know, Martha, this is not, we're not going to be able to keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So when it hits, it's going to hit them. It's going to devastate them. And what you and I are doing is trying to say, if you guys look ahead, you'll be much more likely to speak up on your own behalf, because after that, the game's going to change dramatically and the time horizon will be much longer.
Mm-hmm.
So you do what you can.
Yeah. So this is kind of how we'll run this, you guys. And then we'll, at this point, this is where I would say, Twitter people, and we'll have to get them understanding that they can be on there and having questions. But like YouTube people, put questions in if you have any, and they don't have to regard to today's. Anything regarding, I see some of you in here for sure. Let's see. I see Tony the Driven Dad. How you doing? Traveler, how are you? Kevin Hawthorne, Lakeland, Florida. How are you? Crystal Kimmy in Chicago. How are you? I'm not sure if this comment is related to what it's related to. Chicago is jumping today. Is that a bad thing, Kimmy, or a good thing?
There are a couple of ways you can hear that.
I know, and especially when it's Chicago, because they're going through so much. I don't know how to interpret that.
Oh, how are they going to survive the what is it? The convention?
What's up, Vinny?
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, guys, if you have any questions, otherwise, this is what we're going to be doing every week. Is just kind of having a topic. We'll talk about it. You guys should bring questions. And really, that's it. I mean, they're not going to be long sessions, and we're just trying to okay, no, I don't think that's it. No. But I mean, again, like here's a good comment that I want to pull up. It's not really a question, but I saw from Traveler. So Traveler's in Syracuse, New York. He works gig apps, and he's on his way to St. Louis. And then on his way to Colorado, I can see down the chat. So independent contractorship becomes a problem. You lose that ability. That's gone. You can't go state to state and just be working.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll be gone. And even the apps will make that very clear. You won't be able to go state to state. In fact, it even gets, I think everybody in here that I see at least in the chat knows that we absolutely won't even have any control, really. If you want to stay on the apps, you're going to be working blocks or for franchise model, and at that point, it's just W-2.
Someone will start charging you for your job. Cool.
Right. But none of us want to do this as a W-2. It's funny that all the people I talk to, everybody I talk to, they all say the same thing. Like, I would never do this as a W-2. Okay, well, you love the work, but you would never work for Uber as a W-2. I mean, that speaks volumes. I wouldn't either. Don't worry. I'm right there with you guys. So, but it makes me very, concerned. Especially for people who, are, even if you're multi-apping, it just won't matter if it ends. So here's one from Tony. Oh, and by the way, Vinny, I need a video from you, but we can talk about that because Vinny, you'd be a good one. You're in South Florida, and you're a good speaker. We need a video from you on why you want to be an independent contractor. 30 seconds, Vinny. Just put the phone in front of you. And he's a content creator too, so he knows. Vinny, just take it, record 30 to 60 seconds. This is Vinny. I'm in the South Florida market. This is why I prefer to be an independent contractor.
Right. You don't need to study. Just say what's on your mind. Why do you like it?
Yeah.
Here's Driven Dad asks a good question. How can I get this, meaning his video, in front of my local reps? When I email them here, I just get added to their spam email list. What we're going to do is, I think we can start next week, is we will send each of the video statement makers a link to their video on Rumble, and you'll get the link and you can put that in your email, and your emails will put the header on showing that it's more than opinion. They actually get to listen. I can guarantee you that if they have real people reading their incoming mail, which they generally do, that those real people, as a diversion from all of this, I want this, I want that, they're going to listen to you. Mm-hmm. And that's not the last time you have to send. You can send it. You can send it to all three people who represent you in Congress, 2 senators, and your representative. You can send it to your state rep. You can send it to your state senator. You can send it to your city council, because they're kind of screw up. City councils are trying to screw this up for us too. So there are a lot of ways to keep using that. You can send your email around to your friends, and you have no further work to do except copy the link after that. So we're pretty excited about this.
let me maybe this is a good question. Is there a good, like, if Tony's in my market, he's in Denver. So if he wants to send his elected officials the email, and let's say that it is going to be via a Rumble link,
Right.
does it make a difference to is there somebody important to put on the CC line of an email that lets the person getting the email know, hey, they got this too, so you better respond?
That I don't know. None of these reps think or senators think there's anyone more important than they are. There might
No,
be.
I know. That's why I'm wondering if
So,
there's anybody that
um,
puts like not a threat, but kind of puts it like, hey, they received it on this date too. If I don't reply and this becomes a big issue.
the most important thing is if you can get around that with the video itself. First of all, not many people do this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the very beginning of what's called user generated video, not the end. And no one is saturated with it. Most people don't even know, they don't even think about it. Everyone's going to go, I want you to vote this way.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing is, when you talk about what you like about it, that's not something someone says. Here's why I like what I'm doing. And they'll get the message just like that. And they'll see your face speaking it, and they'll hear your words, your intonation, and where you work in the background. So I think I think it'll do a lot of mind changing, because they're going to show it to their boss, because they're always looking for something new to show their boss. Is, hey, this guy came in, sent this from Aurora, like, hey.
Right. But the biggest part is we need more. So, I mean, even, Vinny, you need to do one. Traveler, even if you don't want to do an audio one, you're such a huge supporter of this channel. You're such a good guy, dude. Do an audio one. Audio works. Video's better, but audio works. It's something. I don't know. I think video, audio trump an email any day of the week.
Absolutely.
Like,
think of a staffer. The staffer is 24, just got to Washington, totally dizzy with stuff to do. You've got to read the incoming mail. 2,000 emails there. They all are boring. And all of a sudden, up pops Vinny or Driven Dad or something saying, man, I can't believe you guys aren't acting on this. I've made my living this way for 8 years, and it's fantastic. I love it because X, Y, and Z. And will you just pay attention to me and help vote for this CRA? And they will hear it, because they want to hear something different too. So give it a try. And
right. But again, we got to get more people. Like, again, I truly believe in volume. I believe the more that they see, it's like they can't look away and go, well, I'm focused on this other thing.
You want them living, you want to live rent free in their heads. And the video is the way to do it, not an email.
Right. And to me also, I've tried to put myself in their shoes. And if I'm getting a video, I don't know how many people that represents. So I need to take that very seriously. Like if Tony sends in one, Tony might represent a whole group of drivers. But I don't know that yet.
This stuff changes people's minds.
Yeah.
You listen to these things, listen to them twice, and you think, oh, look at this. What kind of person says this? And I could go to any of them and think, wow, this person speaks for millions of people. That's same is true of everybody in the comments. There are millions of people just like you.
Sure.
So you're speaking for them. That's what counts in the end. It's impact.
All right, guys, that's it for the week, but we'll be back next week and the next week and the next week and the next week. And every week we're going to have a different topic. So we can either play on that topic, or if you think of between now and next week of a question, either put it in the comments below and we'll address it right out of the gate, or bring it into the live. Either way. But for this week, thank you all. And thank you, Mike. And we will see you back here in not too long. Really.
Welcome, Steve. Thank you. And thanks to everybody in the comments.
Have a great week, everybody.
Okay, great. Good luck.